Sport games. The potential biggest reason for gaming becoming so monetized is also the generally most ignored when the conversation went wrong with gaming. When people talk about monetization in gaming, they usually only talk about, high-priced DLC and, of course, horse armor. But sport games play a huge role. When EA introduced Ultimate Team in FIFA 09, that created the start of Western publishers becoming obsessed with microtransactions. FIFA is a game for the biggest sport in the world, and Ultimate Team generates over $1 billion a year for EA by itself. That means not including the game's unit sales, but just this one game mode. Because of the success of Ultimate Team, Madden started having Ultimate Team, MLB The Show started having an Ultimate Team, NBA 2K, NHL, WWE 2K as well, all started having some form of an Ultimate Team. If you were a sports game, you had to have an Ultimate Team-like mode. But when the ease of gamers willingly spending so much money was seen by publishers of single-player games, MMOs, racing games, and even shooters, they started to understand that there's a chance here for us to also make a lot of money. For those marketing teams, it became, what can we put into our games people will buy? We need surprise mechanics to trigger dopamines in the players. Loot boxes did that very thing. More games started having loot boxes. Convenience microtransactions started making a lot of money, so more games added convenience microtransactions. For those who don't know what a convenience microtransaction is, it's basically games taking things out of a game, making it longer for you to do, and then selling you a quicker way to do that thing. Look at modern Assassin's Creed games. There's a lot of convenience mechanics in those games when it comes to microtransactions, where you get level skips, you get XP boosts. Those are all for your convenience. With all of this, the core gamers from all those genres have taken to social media to voice their displeasure with so many microtransactions. But there isn't really that from sport fans. Why? Sport gamers exist in a bubble. Most of them don't see microtransactions as a bad thing. Most of them only play one sport game that they spend their money on for 1 year. A small few of them might play one other sport game, like a Madden gamer might also play NBA 2K, but generally sport gamers only play one sport game and they play the hell out of it. They only consume content from YouTube and Twitch of that particular sport game. Through this, rose-tinted glasses are created. Glasses where they hate their own sport game but romanticize how good other sport games are. Through this romanticizing, they wish the publishers and developers of other games made a version of the sport that they like. So you'll see an NBA 2K fan wishing that EA would bring back NBA Live. You'll see a WWE 2K fan wishing EA or THQ was making a WWE game. You'll see FC24 gamers edging for 2K to make a FIFA game, all with the thought that those developers would do a better job than who made the current game that they're playing. Problem is, the developer you wish your game had, its player base hates their game too. While FC24 fans froth at the mouth and dream of 2K FIFA, NBA 2K gamers hate the ever-living shit out of NBA 2K. Remember what I said about the glasses. FC24 gamers don't watch 2K content creators. They aren't aware of how much hate the player base has for that game. They aren't aware that 2K sports games are just as money hungry as EA sports games. FIFA 2K will be just as monetized and gambling filled as FC24. Hell, 2K is less shameless about being a gaming simulator than EA is. There's been an NBA 2K game out there that has had slot machines, pachinko machines. They are shameless about gambling. While EAFC gamers argue about if FC24 is the worst FIFA game of all time, NBA 2K gamers are also arguing about if NBA 2K24 is the worst NBA game of all time. All the while, by the way, sport games are on a once-a-year life cycle, meaning you have to spend $70 a year for a game that is basically a roster update from the previous version. Sport games have a lot of reused assets to save time because of the short development window. Developers tend to not over-deliver on content because they don't have the time to make good content. Because of this, sport games can glitch out and show, names and labels from older titles. This is more common in Madden, where people would be playing Madden 24 but see logos or banners that say Madden 21 in game. So why sport gamers like this? Why don't sport gamers demand more from their games like other gaming communities? Well, it's a few things. Sport gamers don't have the same passion as other gamers. Sport gamers aren't as involved with speaking out as other gamers. We just witnessed Sony cave in to Helldivers gamers. Why? Because there were a unified effort by gamers to voice their displeasure with the decision Sony made. When it comes to sport games, you might see a video from Inception FC or Nick RTFM ranting about FIFA. You might see one video complaining about MLB The Show, or you might see a couple small content creators complaining about NBA 2K. But there isn't really a unified effort. What is a unified effort? Well, publishers care more about their money than gamers crying. What you say on Twitter or in a YouTube video doesn't really matter if the pocketbook isn't being affected. The Helldivers situation was going to affect Sony's money. Sport gamers aren't going to stop playing sport games. Sport gamers will complain about the game that they're playing, but won't stop spending money on it. They'll still spend $50 to open a $4 pack in the store. A gamer playing WWE 2K and NBA 2K will call them awful, but then turn around and buy virtual currency. A unified and concerted effort will be the willingness to actually protest games by not spending money, by review bombing, and by not playing the games, which isn't something that sport gamers are willing to do. But again, the average sport gamer only plays that sport game. Before wrapping things up, there is one group of gamers I didn't talk about that is very similar to sport gamers, and that's fighting game fans. Fighting games also recycle content. They upscale their prices while not increasing the effort in content. Games like Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, and Tekken, etc. don't blow you away with story content. It's usually short and fun, but not worth $70. There's usually a shit ton of skins, microtransactions, and a lack of basic fighters to use, while the other fighters get saved for DLC packs. The biggest guilty party of fighting games milking their fan base is anime licensed fighting games like Dragon Ball, Naruto, and Bleach. These games resell the exact same story with each new entry. They market a large player roster, but a huge portion of their player roster is the same fighters, but with a different variation of that character. So you'll see like a base Goku and then a Super Saiyan Blue version of Goku, a Super Saiyan 4 version of Goku, etc. It wasn't always like that though. Back during the golden age of modern gaming, in games like Budokai 3, you could select a base character and transform into each powered up version of that character that was in the game. Their power-ups weren't separate characters. Why don't fans of anime licensed games waste their displeasure? Because like sport fans, they don't see it as bad as the rest of the gaming community does. And this is a big one, like sport games, this is the only way they can play updated versions of characters that they love. A sport game fan wants to play with updated rosters. They don't want to go back and play Madden 06 if that means they can't see the people who got drafted to their favorite team this year. A Dragon Ball Z fan doesn't have any other option to play as Beerus and fight Kefla. They have to play the new version of the game that has updated versions of rosters and updated characters. Especially if there's a new anime out that introduces a new character, they want the newer game that has those new characters. The only thing that fighting games fans don't have to put up with compared to sport fans is the yearly cycle and being a gambling simulator. So that is it for this video, a short one for you guys today, a short discussion video for you guys today. I know we haven't uploaded in a while on the main channel. Working on some things in the background. There's also the sport channel, which has been picking up traction and getting a lot of content as well. So the link below will be a link tree to all my links, including the sport channels. So head over to the sport channel if you're interested in seeing sport gameplay and hearing sport discussions that's about real sports, not just video games. As always, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Catch you guys on the next one. Leave any thoughts you have in the comment section below. I'll see you when I see you. Be a boy, Newbie Gamer Archer. I'm out of here. Deuces.